What happened when a beggar confronted Elon Musk will leave you speechless. Where are you watching from? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more inspiring stories. The bustling entrance of Crescent Mall was alive with luxury, from sleek, expensive cars pulling into the valet station to patrons stepping out in designer attire that spoke of privilege. The air smelled of exclusivity, but just beyond the grand entrance, a man sat cross-legged on the cold pavement, his back leaning against the glass wall. His tattered jacket barely shielded him from the chill, and his cardboard sign rested on his lap, the bold words scrawled unevenly, "Help a man who dared to dream and failed." Despite his weathered appearance, his eyes burned with an unusual defiance. He wasn't invisible, though most passed him without a glance, their conversations carrying on as if he didn't exist. But the stillness of his demeanor, the way he held his ground amidst the opulence, seemed to demand attention from the universe itself. Then, almost as if summoned, a sleek white Tesla pulled up. The crowd hushed as Elon Musk stepped out, dressed simply but radiating an undeniable presence. His name spread through the air like wildfire, whispers, phones raised to capture a glimpse, and awed murmurs that mixed with the hum of the city. Elon, however, walked with purpose, his expression unreadable as he approached the mall entrance, but his path was abruptly blocked. "Mr. Musk," the beggar called out, his voice firm despite its hoarseness. The billionaire paused mid-step, his gaze falling on the man. The crowd froze, their attention locked onto the unfolding scene. "You're the man who builds futures, aren't you?" the beggar continued, rising slowly to his feet. His frame was shaky, his clothes disheveled, but his voice carried a strength that defied his appearance. "But what do you say to someone like me? Someone who had dreams but was crushed by the very world you helped create?" Elon's eyes narrowed, his head tilting slightly as if studying a puzzle. He didn't respond immediately, letting the tension in the air grow thicker. The crowd leaned in, their whispers ceasing, waiting for his reaction. "Who are you?" Elon asked finally, his tone calm but direct. The man smiled bitterly. "I was someone once," he said. "An innovator, a creator. Until the systems you thrive in left me behind. You talk about saving humanity, but what about people like me? People who have nothing left?" The challenge hung in the air like a gauntlet thrown at the feet of a king. Elon's expression remained unreadable, but the slightest flicker of intrigue passed through his eyes. "And what is it you want from me?" Elon asked, his voice cutting through the tension like a blade. "I want you to prove," the beggar said, stepping forward, "that all your talk about changing humanity isn't just for headlines. Show me that the future you're building has room for someone like me." Elon stood silent for a moment, the weight of the challenge sinking in. Then, unexpectedly, a faint smile tugged at the corner of his lips. "You've got guts," he said. "What's your name?" "Liam," the beggar replied. "All right, Liam," Elon said, his tone shifting to one of curiosity. "Meet me here tomorrow at 9. Bring whatever you've got, ideas, skills, or just your determination. Let's see if the future still has a place for you." Without waiting for a response, Elon walked into the mall, his figure disappearing behind the glass doors. Liam stood frozen, the weight of the moment pressing on him. The crowd erupted into whispers, phones capturing the last seconds of the interaction. The internet was already ablaze with speculation about what had just occurred. As the chatter grew louder, Liam's grip on his cardboard sign tightened. He wasn't sure if he had just been handed a lifeline or a test he was destined to fail. The next morning, Liam stood outside the entrance of Crescent Mall, his hands clutching a worn-out folder filled with crumpled pages. These were the remnants of a past he was once proud of. Blueprints, sketches, and ideas that he had created before everything fell apart. He hadn't slept much the night before, overwhelmed by the thought of what awaited him. Could he really face Elon Musk, a man who defined the future with scraps from his broken past? The clock struck 9, and right on time a black Tesla rolled up to the curb. Elon stepped out as composed and enigmatic as ever. He nodded at Liam, a silent acknowledgement, before motioning for him to follow. Liam swallowed his nerves and fell into step behind him, the whispers of onlookers buzzing faintly in the background. They walked to a nearby coffee shop, tucked away from the morning rush. Elon led him to a private corner booth, ordered 2 coffees, and sat across from Liam, his gaze steady. "All right, Liam," Elon said, breaking the silence. "Let's see what you've got." Liam hesitated, his fingers trembling as he opened the folder and spread its contents on the table. There were hand-drawn designs for renewable energy solutions, notes on water purification systems, and ideas for affordable modular housing. His voice wavered as he began explaining each concept, but with every word, a spark reignited in him. The passion he thought he had lost started to seep back into his tone. Elon studied the sketches, his expression unreadable, occasionally nodding or raising an eyebrow. When Liam finished, the silence was deafening. He felt like he was holding his breath waiting for a verdict. "These are interesting," Elon finally said, his fingers tapping on the table. "Raw, but there's potential. Tell me, Liam, why did you stop?" The question hit harder than Liam expected. He clenched his jaw, his voice bitter. "I didn't stop, the world stopped me. I was working on these projects when the company I was with shut down. Automation replaced us, and no one wanted to invest in ideas like these anymore. I lost my job, my home, my family, and when I tried to get back up, the world had already moved on." Elon leaned forward, his eyes sharp. "The world isn't fair, Liam. But sitting here blaming it won't change a thing. The question is, do you still believe in these ideas?" Liam's gaze hardened. "I do." "Then prove it," Elon said. He reached into his jacket and pulled out a sleek tablet, sliding it across the table. "Choose one project. I'll give you the resources, the team, and the tools to make it happen, but this isn't a handout. You'll have to work for it, and if it fails, there are no second chances." Liam stared at the tablet, the weight of the offer sinking in. He flipped through his notes one last time before pointing to a design for compact, low-cost solar panels. "This one," he said. "It's simple, scalable, and it can make a real difference." Elon nodded. "Good choice. You start tomorrow." As they left the coffee shop, Liam felt the weight of the challenge pressing down on him. He had been given what he wanted, a chance. But as he glanced at Elon, who was already checking his phone and moving on to his next task, Liam couldn't shake the feeling that this was more than just an opportunity. It felt like a test, one that could either rebuild his life or crush him completely. 3 months had passed since Liam stepped into the bustling innovation hub of Tesla's development facility. The space was a far cry from the streets he had called home, a maze of cutting-edge labs, bustling teams, and technology he had only dreamed of using. At first, Liam felt like an outsider, the weight of his past making him question if he even belonged. But every morning he showed up, determined to prove himself. He had chosen to work on his compact solar panels, envisioning them as a game-changer for underserved communities. The design had to be efficient, affordable, and simple enough to be deployed in even the harshest conditions. The first few weeks were grueling. Engineers questioned his methods, his knowledge, and his place in their world. But slowly they began to see his ideas take shape. His persistence, born from years of fighting to survive, earned their respect. One evening, as the team ran simulations, the breakthrough finally came. Liam had modified the panel structure, integrating a new material Tesla had developed. The result was a lightweight, efficient design that could capture energy even in low-light conditions. When the test results flashed on the screen showing unprecedented performance, a wave of silence swept through the room, followed by cheers. Liam felt a mix of relief and disbelief. He had done it. Word of the breakthrough reached Elon quickly. The next morning he appeared unannounced in the lab. "Show me," he said, his tone as sharp as ever. Liam demonstrated the prototype, explaining its potential to transform access to energy in impoverished regions. Elon examined it closely, then looked up at Liam. "Impressive," he said. "But the real test isn't in here, it's out there." 2 weeks later, Elon took Liam to a remote village on the outskirts of the city. Families lived in makeshift homes patched together with scraps of metal and wood. The sun scorched the land during the day, yet the village had no reliable power. Children studied under flickering kerosene lamps, and mothers cooked in dim, smoky kitchens. "This," Elon said, gesturing to the scene, "is where your invention needs to work." Liam and his team worked tirelessly for days, installing the panels on rooftops, connecting them to small battery packs, and setting up a central power station. As the final connection was made, a crowd gathered, their faces filled with hope and skepticism. Liam stood in the center, holding his breath as he flipped the switch. The village lit up. Children squealed with joy as the golden glow of light filled their homes for the first time. Mothers wept as their kitchens became brighter than ever before. The crowd erupted in cheers, but Liam couldn't move. He stood frozen, tears streaming down his face as the magnitude of the moment hit him. For the first time in years, he felt like he mattered. Media quickly picked up the story, hailing Liam as the innovator who rose from the streets. His face was plastered across headlines and interviews poured in. But the most surreal moment came when Elon invited him to Tesla's annual shareholder meeting. Standing on stage, facing an audience of the world's most influential people, Liam told his story, not just about his failure and redemption, but about the power of believing in second chances. As the applause thundered, Liam turned to Elon. "Why did you do this for me?" he asked quietly. The question he had been too afraid to ask before. Elon's reply was simple but powerful. Because the best ideas don't always come from boardrooms. Sometimes they come from people who've had to fight for everything. And because people like you remind us what innovation is really about. The project didn't end there. Elon committed resources to expand Liam's solar panel initiative, transforming communities across the globe. Liam became a symbol of resilience, proof that even the most broken dreams could be rebuilt with determination and opportunity. If this story inspired you, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more moving narratives.